What's up, family? Welcome back to the Stop Sinking Show, where we go from struggle to flow. Before I get entirely into the topic of today, I wanted to qualify the word that I'm using, anchor, and define what it is. An anchor, like a lot of things, has some inherent duality in what it is and what it can be. An anchor is good and bad. An anchor is something, if you are trying to fight the waves and you have decided that this is the place that you are going to stay for a bit, overnight maybe, an anchor is something that will keep you there stable. Or an anchor is also something that will weigh you down. An anchor is something that can keep you from going where you are trying to go. It can hold you back. So how you look at anchors is based off of, are they being used for the purpose that they're being deployed for, or are they now being deployed longer than they need to be and taking you away from what you are trying to achieve, stopping you from going where you want to go? Now, ancestral anchors, the idea of that comes to me from that I don't know when I'm arguing with you or when you meet resistance in the world, myself. If I'm arguing with you, or 1,000 years of you, 1,000 years of everything that has been passed down into you, I don't know if the resistance we meet in the world, in life, is the resistance that we are meeting, or is the resistance of 1,000 years of us that's meeting it. Now, the conversation is about deploying and matching that with whether it meets your goals. So that means sometimes you have to shed, prune away, cut the anchors that ancestrally bind you. And again, some of the things that bind you add stability. They keep you exactly where you are supposed to be in some areas of your life. They keep you unwavering, not affected by the winds and the storms. And some places, you do need that stability. Principles come to mind. Ethics come to mind. An entire culture can be anchored in some things like this and not have to shed them. And in other places, there are some things we need to shed. Some of those things that you have ancestrally learned, they need to be given up. So they actually match the current conditions of the world. So they actually match something that you can actually do in this world that 1,000 years ago, or all the programming from then, in which they didn't have these current conditions to try and match and develop, would leave you actually outmatched to current conditions if you were trying to apply those. Sticking to your ancestral bindings and ways of being would leave you behind. That frankly, a lot of you might not even be aware of. So how could you affect it? And that is the scariest part of it for me. Not knowing which parts of me are so ingrained that it runs in my veins almost. Like it's part of my nature that might be the very things that are holding me back. So how do I bleed those out? How do I uproot my roots? And when I face challenges in my life, I want to believe that those same roadblocks I meet aren't somehow ones that I'm predisposed to because of what I've absorbed or has been coded in me. And now we can debate about free will, whether everything is as deterministic as people would like to believe. But nonetheless, the thing I want to believe is that though I may not be able to be the entire evolution in a flash myself, but that I can absolutely be the catalyst. That if there are some anchors, ways of being in me that do not serve me, that I learned through attachment styles or even passed down from generations prior to that I didn't experience, that the stories can change with me, that I have the power, that I can say I don't want the life I'm trying to create today to have to meet the resistance of 1,000 years of impediments. And I'm sad when I can see this in others, when I can see it in myself. For some people, it's like the first thought they ever had about a topic is the only thought they've ever had on that ever since, which only makes me question where it was passed down to them from. What lineage are they now borrowing their anchors from? In my life, when it comes to how I aspire to express and emote, I have always realized that it feels hollow when the words, the feelings, the stance I am taking is not coming from deep within myself. If I ever feel like I am borrowing too much ground from someone else as a basis of where I stand, I feel extremely weak and shaky. Only when I have begrudgingly walked through the thorns myself, gotten stuck by them, have them bleed my feet, do I stand then more firm, regardless of the battering I may have taken. This is the task, to question everything you believe, or have periods in your life where you question areas of your life that you have taken for granted, everything you say or accept, and ask where it came from, or whose ground are you standing under. Anchors can keep a ship from sinking, and anchors can make a ship sink. Use them accordingly. I love you, family. Stay true always. I'll see you on the next show.